I have been more and more really focused on hymns, and particularly on American hymnody, for the last several years. The last organ piece I wrote was for the Appleton organ at the Metropolitan Museum. It was a commission they gave me for the 30th anniversary, and that's, if you know that instrument, it's an historic American instrument. And Appleton was, I think, a Connecticut builder, if I'm not mistaken. And this instrument was built in 1830, and it languished finally in a Pennsylvania church. In fact, it had been covered by a wall at a certain point, which was actually very good for it because it didn't get damaged.
Sheltered.
And they were able to sort of restore this thing, and it's a rather ghostly instrument. So I imagine in that case the ghosts of these hymns that sort of played themselves in this organ, and I went from there. And those were all early American hymns, things like From Greenland's Icy Mountains, and they were sort of hymn variations, three pieces. And I actually in those performances, I make the audience sing the hymns first.
Excellent.
Because then the name of that piece is Holy Ghosts, small h, small g. So I thought, I was still kind of playing that out in my mind when I found out that this was going to be at King's Chapel, which after all is, one of the central places for 18th and 19th century New England hymnody, I would imagine. But I didn't want to do a piece that was aesthetically the same as that piece, and I also wanted this interplay between the string quartet and the organ. So at first I was going to do a massive set of variations on What Wondrous Love from Southern Harmony, which I feel is like, the word I keep coming up with that hymn is that it's fierce. It's this fierce piety, this Southern piety, and incredibly powerful, particularly in its original harmonization. But then I thought, I don't want to do a 15-minute set of variations on the one hymn, as interesting as that is. And I have others that I love very, very much. And so these didn't become variations so much as the hymns are kind of jumping off points for something more fantastic and less. The hymn tune is always there someplace, but it's not always so clear that that's what it's about. There are two Southern Harmony hymns that I use, What Wondrous Love and Jesus Calls Us. Jesus Calls Us?
Or the Tumult.
Or the Tumult, yes. And then the other two are kind of northern hymns. Come thou Fount of Every Blessing. And I always have the trouble with this one, the first line.
My shepherd will supply.
That's right. My shepherd will supply my need, which I think is one of the most beautiful tunes. So I kind of like the idea of alternating north and south and having these four movements. It's about 14 minutes total. And it turns out it ends with What Wondrous Love, and that one is still the big piece. It's, of the 14 minutes, that's like a 5-minute piece at the end. So the idea was to create contrast, but also a kind of a mural of American hymnody, I'm really interested to see now, obviously we haven't heard the piece yet. As a matter of fact, I finished it, as we're having this interview, I finished it 3 weeks ago, and I did the final proofing 48 hours ago, so it's very fresh in my mind in a sense. But it's also, there are a few little risks that I take, and which is why I'm glad you're playing it, Heidi, because we can fix it.
Exactly.
By the time everybody hears it, we will fix it, whatever it is.
Perfection.